Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the Punting Green, brought to you by PriceUp.bet and oddschecker. I'm your host, George Ellick, delighted to be joined, as I am early in the week, every week, by Ginger Joe. Joe, fresh off the Heritage, JT, back in the winner's enclosure. How did you find it?
Yeah, really good. Really nice event to watch, actually. A little bit of a shame we didn't make the money with our selections, of course, but to be fair, they all played relatively well. They just didn't quite have enough birdies to get themselves into the money, basically. But it was a really enjoyable tournament to watch. We did okay with our prop bets last week. Cam Davis turned out to be the top Oceania. We put him up at 7-1. Then we had the double with Fitzpatrick to be the top Brit, didn't we? Now, he beat everyone bar Tommy Fleetwood, so he nearly landed the 62-1 double or whatever it was. But we got the score on Cam Davis, which, you know, ticked us over for the week. Yeah, just a shame we couldn't make any of the money. Jordan Spieth did what I expected, sort of played really well. We were just a couple of shots short with a few of the players last week, but hopefully we can get ourselves into the winner's enclosure this week.
Yeah, spot on. Let's get into the action. And this week we are moving away from the PGA Tour, aren't we, Joe? Tell us why.
Yeah, I mean, look, we've got a doubles event over in America, the Zurich. It's not really a tournament that fits the way fits my strategy, really. I like backing individual players to sort of dissect a course and then match two players to the track. It just doesn't really sit very well with me. It's hard enough to land one winning player, let alone to find two selections that are going to play well at the same time. It's never really been an angle for me, so I prefer to sidestep that. I'm going to look at the Hainan Classic on the DP World Tour instead as a singles event.
Yeah, spot on. These are the prices for the Hainan Classic with priced up. Hao Tong Lee and Erasmus Nygaard Peterson are the 12-1 joint favourites, with Eugenio Lopez Chikara and Rennie Ding both 16-1. Keita Nakajima 18-1. Matthew Jordan 22-1. Yus Luton 25-1. Brandon Stone 28-1. Yulian Guerra is 28-1. 33-1 Sam Bairstow. 35-1 Daniel Hillier, and Romain Langasque 35-1 as well. So that's kind of the top 15 or so in the market, or 12 in the market, I think it is. Any of those making up coming into the staking plan? And as I should say before we get into this, tell us a bit about the course and what kind of a test this is.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I've got two from the top end there of the market, but then I have a couple of much bigger prices for this week as well. But yeah, this is at Mission Hills Golf Resort on the Blackstone Course. It's a par 72. 7,711 yards long. This is a beast from tee to green. It really is going to take some getting. You've got a fair amount of water to manoeuvre as well. You've got well-protected greens with loads of bunkers. The rough doesn't look too much when you're looking at the flyover, but if you take a bit of a deeper dive into things, this is really thick rough. So it can make some of your approach shots really long if you're not hitting your balls well off the tee. So you do need an all-rounder. If you want a couple of sort of stats to focus on, really, you need to be good off the tee to help your approach shot. But because you've got such a long way into the greens, you probably need a pretty good scrambler as well. Like I said, there's loads of bunkers around these greens too. So ideally, you need someone good off the tee and someone who's pretty decent at scrambling. Overall, though, George, you need to be good everywhere to win around this golf course. That is why I have two from the top end of the market this week.
Take it away. Who's your two at the top?
Selection number one is Japanese Keita Nakajima, 18-1 there with priced up. World number 104, a one-time DP World Tour winner. He actually won the Indian Open last year, and then he came back and finished second in it this year as well. He's 10th on the road to Dubai standings, and this to me is the real class player in the field. If you take all of the lineup here and you wanted to find the number one over a long period of time, for me it would be Keita Nakajima. Second in the Singapore Open, then second in the Indian Open. He did miss the cut last week. However, he had a bad first round and he brought it back and shot one under par in his second round. And he evidently plays much better on longer golf courses. Plenty long off the tee, really consistent with it too. Good ball striker, so he should be fine with his approach play. And as a previous winner, his short game is pretty solid too. So, like I said, I want a nice all-rounder this week, but he ticks the two factors that I was really looking for. Good off the tee, good scrambler, but he's pretty solid everywhere else as well. I think looking down this field, it's hard to ignore that Keita Nakajima is available at 18-1. Just one thing to mention, which is quite interesting this week, Priced Up are offering 6 places where they have generally been 5. So we're going to take advantage of that extra place hopefully this week as well.
Yeah, lovely stuff. Keita Nakajima, 18-1, the first selection there. for Joe. And as he says, 6 places, a 5th to 6th of the place terms. Who's next on the list?
Next up, we're going to have Haotong Li at 12 to 1 with priced up. Looked like the winner all week last week, but got too aggressive on the 18th and basically blew the tournament. Almost gave it away when you look at how the scores actually finished. Wouldn't actually have been for me last week either. I'd have much preferred to have backed him this week in hindsight anyway. He probably played better than I expected last week too. It wasn't really a course that suits his sort of game plan, but he should do better around here as well. He's been really consistent from tee to green, very much like a rejuvenated golfer this year as well. And I think he's destined to get himself another DP World Tour title. I don't often like backing home players in their home opens, i.e. Haotong Li in the Chinese Open. And obviously they're staying in China again this week, but he ticks every single box for me this week. His tee to green play is pretty much second to none this year as well. So I find it hard to see him being too far away from the money. So between himself and Keita Nakajima, I think we're going to have a massive chance to get ourselves in the winners' enclosure with my main 2 selections of the week anyway.
Lovely stuff. 2 main selections there. We've got Keita Nakajima at 18 to 1, Haotong Li at 12 to 1. So 3 more selections, all at bigger prices. Who makes up the 5-man squad?
So we have Zihao Jin, 175 to 1. He makes my 3rd selection of the tournament. And I don't go in price order. This is basically done on strength of selection. World number 478. Very much above average in driving accuracy, greens and regulation, scoring average. Good at putting as well. He did miss the cut last week. However, again, a course that probably wasn't necessarily going to suit him. But prior to that, he did actually finish 7th in the Magical Kenya Open. So he's well deserved of his place on the DP World Tour. And he actually topped the China Tour money list last year as well. So he's been ultra consistent as the world number 478. Probably a player that's going to go completely under the radar this week as well. But he's got every single attribute to play well at this golf course. And he's actually been well supported. He was a bigger price earlier in the week. He's now into 175 to 1. So perhaps a few people are starting to cotton on. But Zihao Jin should be a really good option at 175 to 1, especially with the extra available this week.
Lovely stuff. Yeah, 175 to 1 about Zihao Jin. Looks like a huge price. And the other 2 is bigger prices as Jin.
No, they are smaller, but again, I just go in sort of my personal strength with the selections. Next up, we're going Daniel Hillier, 35 to 1. Now, he's the 2023 British Masters winner, a long course specialist, tied 36th last week, and he's a player that's very much starting to return to form again. It's been a little bit of a tough stretch for him since he won that event in 2023, but he's coming into this with much more consistent form, sort of finding his game. And when you look down this field as well, we haven't really got sort of a stellar lineup, should we say. It's going to be a brilliant tournament, but we haven't got your 1, 2, 3, 4 on the DP World Tour lining up this week. So I think he's one that's probably going to be, again, maybe sliding under the radar. I know he's not a massive price, but based on what he's been doing in previous weeks and previous tournaments, I think he's a little bit overpriced because his game is just about starting to come good. When he strikes the ball well, that is when he scores well, and that's exactly what's been happening in the last few tournaments. So he's a guy coming to the boil, 35 to 1 for Daniel Hillier.
Daniel Hillier, 35 to 1. And who's the 5th and final selection this week?
The 5th selection is the player that's going to balance out the squad as the all-rounder. This is Nacho Alvira at 75 to 1, a 2-time DP World Tour winner. Ultra consistent. In 4 of his last 5 tournaments, he's finished in the top 25 in the leaderboard. He's very good from tee to green. His short game is absolutely outstanding. So even if he does have a few wayward shots with his approach, he's going to have no problem getting up and down here. I know there's plenty of bunkers. Well, this Spaniard is unbelievable at saves from bunkers. Hopefully he hits the green anyway. But providing anything does go slightly off course from tee to green, then he's got that in the locker as well. Look, he's our all-round player in the squad. He will balance things out for us because it can. There's a few of the players that I've got in this week's squad that maybe have one missing attribute. Nacho has them all. Hopefully he can balance out the squad for us and be the one that just makes us a bit of money regardless of what happens.
Keita Nakajima, 18 to 1. Haotong Li, 12 to 1. Zihao Jin, hopefully just the tonic, 175 to 1. Daniel Hillier, 35 to 1. And Nacho Elvira, 75 to 1, the 5-man squad for Ginger Joe in the Hainan Classic this weekend. Before we let you go, any other selections in other markets, or is it just going straight up for the tournament winner this week?
Yeah, just the tournament winner this week, George. Again, this is a brand new course, actually. I should have mentioned that at the beginning. So we haven't actually got any sort of course form and things like that to go on. I've had to look at the flyover, have a look at the scorecard, a few things like that to sort of manufacture my selections for the squad this week. So we're just going for the tournament winner, George, but we'll take that if we can land Zihao Jin at 175 to 1.
Great stuff. Thank you to Joe for sharing his squad. As always, hopefully he's got the winner in the Hainan Classic. We'll be back again next weekend, back on the PGA Tour as well. So make sure you keep your eyes peeled for that. But in the meantime, enjoy the week's golf. Make sure you check out priced.up.bet. If you haven't got an account already, definitely sign up for one, covering all sports, big prices, and price boosts across sport as well, which you can find in the price boosts page. With Priced Up. Oddschecker have you covered for the best prices, booking offers, free bets, and plenty more, including tips from Joe and others on the app. So make sure you download the app now as well. But we'll see you again next week. In the meantime, please ensure that you're gambling responsibly.